Hi, good afternoon. Today we are going to be breaking down Chico Lopez and Chico Lopez dogs. We are going to be making sure that people new into the dogs do not get tricked like I was. Be fooled, don't be fooled. I was fooled twice, so I am doing this for you guys, making sure that you don't fall into the same traps. This is my sensitive girl, so I'm making sure that she's all right. Uh, So we are going to be breaking down Chico Lopez. I'm making sure that you guys understand that he does not have a bloodline. He does not. The dogs, the successful dogs that he has had, we aren't all because of him, and a lot of them really have very little influence of Chico Lopez. So a lot of these dogs that I'm going to be breaking down, really, I would say all of them do not represent 28 years of breeding. But I am going to be breaking it down from back to forward. So I'm going to be looking at some of the old dogs, some of the dogs from, and I'm going to explain. I'm going to be chronologically explaining why Chico Lopez did a couple of breedings here and there, and why X dogs are still around now, even 20 years, 20 plus years after the fact. Okay, so first we are going to be looking at Awesome Buck. A lot of you know Awesome Buck. This is supposed to be one of the dog Chico Lopez has supposedly decided to make his bloodline out of. And as you know, as many of you know, this Awesome Buck dog lost in 8 minutes against a champion wrangler. 8 minutes, according to I wasn't there. This is all historical. I'm not encouraging anything. I'm just talking history. I'm talking about the facts of the dogs at that time. So, and these were in the late '90s. The things that happened. So Chico Lopez dog Buck lost and died. Against Champion Wrangler. Champion Wrangler was basically a honey bunch dog. So what did Chico Lopez do? He said, "Okay, I lost. I was in devastating fashion against a honey bunch dog, so I am going to buy a honey bunch dog." So Mr. Chico Lopez gets whooped by a honey bunch dog, lost the dog. Luckily, he had plenty of semen. That was like the only thing he thought about. I'm like, whoo! Luckily, I froze some of that semen. Now, what do I do with this? What did he do? He went back to what beat him. He went back to Honey Bunch Blood. He bought that Thinker dog, and he used that Thinker Blood female. Used the Awesome Buck dog semen that he had. That was the car he had. So he dumped it. From that breeding came about Chilindrina, Carmelena Soprano, King Amok, who else? Also Molly and Cricket. Okay. Funny thing here is that in that litter that the dogs that lost, like the Soprano lost, King Amok lost, believe Molly lost, but they all three of them were game lost. And you'll know that if you look at 99, if not 100% of Chico's losses are all game losses. Game losses. Part of the salesman. But I'm just pointing that out to you. You believe it or not. At the end of the day, you are going to put your hand in your own pocket and decide where you buy. I don't sell anything. I don't have anything for sale. I was a customer that got ripped off by Chico Lopez. So I'm giving you I'm breaking it down for you, assuming you are a very intelligent person that thinks and will listen to logic. Okay, so Chico Lopez bought this thinker dog, which is basically desert rats, basically a Leroy dog. Thinker dog, like I said, thinker dog was line bred on Leroy. Leroy is the sire champion wrangler who whooped Awesome Buck. Anybody. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to think about that. It doesn't take a scientist to figure that out. So, so from there again, I repeat: Chilindrina, Carmelina, Carmela Soprano, Awesome Molly, and Cricket came about. Uh, but again, this is just trying to get, you know, trying to trying to fix what was broken. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so now we are going to talk about Gasolina. Gasolina was a female that Chico Lopez had. Basically, he bred using Damien, Southern Kennels Damien, not Chico Lopez, to Jane. Jane was something that he bred off of Awesome Buck. I got it. So to something that Cuban Missile Link had. Now, Cuban Missile Link at this time was very important in Chico Lopez. Chico Lopez listened to Cuban Missing Link. Cuban Missing Link was like a mentor to him. At this point, Chico Lopez, being the ingrate that he normally is, has used Cuban Missing Link and now disregards all the things he did for him. Um, Going a little back, when Chico Lopez was opening house kennels, there was a lot of Cuban Missing Link blood in the dogs he was selling. Even though he advertises that he never sold dogs, that is a complete lie. That it was an advertising tool saying, here's my advertisement, my full page advertisement, no dogs for sale, but here's my number. So, and that is completely true. That is, it cannot deny it. That's why he used to do it in the in some journals, in some magazines. So this Gasolina was overtaken, like I said, to Jane, which is a awesome buck to Chiquita, who was a Cuban missing link dog. Awesome buck, he was trying to say, okay, let's see if this works. It was a trial and error. At the time, he went through a lot of dogs. That's for sure. It wasn't like he had some special skill because he clearly, as I'm breaking down these dogs, I'm clearly showing you that he's still going back to the well into the 1990s well. He hasn't been able to intelligently uh, choose the dogs that will improve his line. He he continues to hit a dead end in performance, so he needs to continue going back. But you know what? Unfortunately, that frozen theme is going to end at some point, and then he's going to start lying about that he still has some. It's an unlimited supply of frozen semen because at this point he doesn't have to DNA test anything. He, all these registries, he ran away from registries because now he can do whatever he says. He's worried his bond, and his bond is nothing because again he stole my money. He guaranteed me that he would give me my money back if something went wrong. But when things came to be, he did. So now I'm doing this for you guys so you can prevent yourself from being scammed. Okay, you're not going to get any registries. You're not going to get any real papers aside from something he's going to print out. But it means nothing to anybody. But not even to him. So let the buyer beware. Let's continue on. Now we are going to look at Sarah Bell for a bit. Sarah Bell at the time when he was opening house kennels, Chico was um, Sarah Bell was one of his greatest. Supposedly at the time, this is in the after 2000, obviously, I'm going to just say it that way. After 2000, close to 2010, um, he was calling this female one of the greatest, blah, blah, blah. It was great. Anyway, if you see it now, you don't see it much in his pedigrees. So I would consider that another dead end because I don't see that in his pedigree at all. But Sarah Bell was basically out of 357 Junior, which is basically a Lambert Buck dog because he was out of 357 to Macha, who was a sister to Damien, Southern Kennel's Damien. The Macha was a little mate to Damien. And 357 Junior was put on top of Saratoga. Saratoga being, again, a honey bunch dog, you're basically trying to, trying to get that activation going from the honey bunch to the bug dogs, to the Damien, influence, the Mayday influence. That was what he was trying to do at the time. Okay, so it was a lot of trial and error at the time for him. So it wasn't like he knew what he was doing. Saratoga was supposed to be a great female for him. Sarah Bell's the same way. I remember Saratoga at the time. He was boasting about it, but it was nothing to do with anything to do with him. Saratoga, it wasn't about him. Saratoga is out of Garrett Shorty. It wasn't nothing to do with Chico Lopez. And excuse me, Garrett Shorty was the sire, and Fine Tune was the dam who was over Rocky Rom to Rocky Rom. Oh, Fine Tune was a little mate to Champion Mechanic. So okay, so now we are going to fast forward 15, 20 years into Chicos Lopez's career as a breeder. We are going to go from the 90s to basically around 2010-ish, a few years before, a few years forward, and on to the present 2020. Okay, for from the 90s to 2010, we can say maybe 15, 20 years have passed, and you would assume that a person that is active, the person that is as active as he says he was, as as the merit he received in that time, according to him, all the accolades supposedly he received through that time and beyond, you would think at this point he has an established bloodline. But if you start looking at those dogs that he promoted at the time, again 2010 ish, give or take a few years, you'll notice that those dogs continue to be the same type of mixture in the first and second degree. You do not see any development, no intelligent development that is shown in pedigree, that is shown in generations. I'll give you an example. Champion Mechanic Buck. Okay, that is supposedly one of Chico's dogs. But if you look at Champion Mechanic Buck, where did he come from? He came from Champion Mechanic, who was a pure honey bunch dog, pure dog that perhaps Chico Lopez had at some point. But again, it is not his bloodline. It is not something he developed. It is an ingredient. If anything, it is an ingredient, but it's not the the end result. It is not the full recipe. So we are looking at Champion Mechanic Buck that was also came out of Awesome Cricket. Who was Awesome Cricket? Again, that is from the beginning when after Awesome Buck was destroyed by the Honey Bunch dog, he got Thinker. Thinker and Awesome Buck created Awesome Cricket. I'm not sure your Awesome Cricket is related to Cricket, the other sister. Remember, there's Awesome apparently awesome cricket. There's also Chilindrina in that litter. There's also King Amok, awesome, awesome Molly, and Carmela Soprano. So from awesome cricket, those are the other sisters. Okay. So and remember that Thinker is 100% honey bunch dog. So if mechanic champion mechanic is 100% a pure honey bunch dog, and the dam of mechanic buck, otherwise grandmother, is 100% pure honey bunch dog, the awesome buck is the out. So mechanic buck, the awesome buck is the out for mechanic buck. It's just the it isn't Chico Lopez. Okay? So you have to understand this. That 15 years, 20 years later, Chico Lopez was still trying out the first and second step. Everything had been a dead end. And where was he getting all these dogs from? The United States. United States, including as recently as when he received got came to the United States to get the semen from Sarge. He bought the semen. He came to the United States. To the United States. He didn't go anywhere else. He didn't stay in Brazil. He didn't go anywhere else. He went to the United States again. He came to the United States to get the Sarge semen. He made the breeding. He says it in his video. Oh, I made the breeding. I came to the United States to get the semen. Blah blah blah. So he's trying to make people believe that the United States doesn't have any good dogs. But I'm just showing you that they all come back to the United States dogs. He continues to use them. I don't know how much of the awesome buck semen he has. Perhaps he had brothers and sisters that did not work out, but because they were bred the same way as awesome buck, maybe he used that semen. Who knows? Chico Lopez is capable of anything. So I gotta ask you guys: do you really feel that this guy is an expert breeder of 28 years? I've read that for to create a new uh, breed of dog, you need 7 generations without crossing out to have a new breed of dog. I do ask, how many generations without taking dogs from other places does it require? Is a requirement to have your own bloodline, an honest bloodline, not be honest. Again, to create your own breed of dogs, from what I read, you need 7 generations using your own dogs, using that particular sample of dogs, and not anything else for 7 generations in order for you to have your own breed of dog. So how many does it take? Same way, same idea, to have your own bloodline. I certainly don't think that Chico Lopez has a bloodline. Certainly not. He continues to use the work of other people in the first and second generation. If not at first, second, and third, ton of it. And very little of the awesome buck blood. And where he has used a lot of the awesome buck blood, it becomes a dead end. Think about it. We are going to talk about the Bagman. We are now in, let's say, 2015 forward. Obviously, the Bagman has passed away by now, but let's just cover him as well and see what was he about. Again, the Bagman is one of the animals that he's known for today, and obviously Siega the Great is also another name that we know of him today or in the past 10 years, and that those are the two dogs that he's been patting himself on the back as the greatest breeder of dogs of 20 years, mind you. Again, remind you, this video is showing you step by step chronologically how this came about and why I say hell no, Chico Lopez. 28 years, it does not represent your dogs, or your dogs do not represent 28 years of breeding. Let's look at the Bagman. Now, the Bagman is also King Amok. King Amok, remember, it goes back to the same breeding. That awesome bug to Thinker. Thinker being the 100% pure honey bunch dog, uh, trying to patch all the holes that the awesome bug dog had in terms of performance and if in terms of any uh, genetics. And again, all United States blood. We still have it here today. Okay, so and yeah, so King Amok again, it was sister. King Amok's siblings were Chilindrina, Carmela Soprano, Awesome Molly, Awesome Cricket. You know, those are the same ones repeating. So those from back in the 90s, back then, he was using now again, same combination, same dogs, but obviously here King Amok is one more step that Chico Lopez had because obviously he put the Thinker and also Buck together to create King Amok. So that's one step. Now he's used it again, King Amok, to create the Bagman. All right. I don't know about the Bagman other than the story Chico Lopez has spewed out. Um, don't know how great he was in performance. I don't know anything about it, but I do know that he was the dam was Brutal Baby. Okay, King Amok was the sire, Brutal Baby was the dam, and Baby was the sire of Brutal Baby was Damien, Southern Kennels Damien. You see it again, Damien is not his dog, but he's using it. Again, there is no sign here of intelligent combinations being done through generations. There's no sign of that here in the Bagman. It is just basically going back to the 1990s well and grabbing what worked then and trying it out. Okay, and here in the Bagman, there was a bigger contribution from Chico Lopez. And what has the Bagman produced thus far? According to Chico, according to Chico bred this dog about 5, 6 years ago to 4 dogs of the year. His words, not mine. 3 or 4 dogs of the year, and obviously, great dogs from that Spartan kennels. There's been all the champions that have been bred to that dog. Like all the dogs most of the dogs I heard from the Bagman that came out, they are either uh, physically deformed, fearful, cold, skittish, not a good representation of the breed. And I will say specifically, one breeding in specific that I noticed a high level of bad dogs. When he bred the Bagman to Lady Cadillac. Lady Cadillac and the Bagman seem to produce the worst dogs. The worst. Okay, so now we are going to look at Ciega the Great quickly. I'm not going to spend much time on Ciega because I have a video specifically for Ciega the Great. So if you want to get more details on her and how she is not really a representation of Chico Lopez 28 years breeding dogs, you can see it there. I'm gonna make it real quick for her. So we know that Chico the Great is also the Sarge, Holland's Sarge. You know, Chico Lopez will put in the Chico Lopez Sarge, but he did not make the breeding that created Sarge. He did have had nothing to do with the creation of Sarge. But Chico Lopez, in order to confuse the masses, the public, the people that don't know much about anything or much about these dogs, and I don't want to offend you, change his name in the pedigrees so to make it seem like it's more of his influence. In essence, Chico Lopez, if I'm not from what he can clarify in one of his videos after I created my video Ciega the Great, he mentioned that he went to the United States to make the breeding. Now, this is the time that already Chico Lopez was bashing that there was no good dogs in the United States, but he still went over the United States and made the breeding to Sarge. I'm not sure if he was in semen. I'm not sure the details, but the essence is that he grabbed Sarge, which is 0% his influence, is 100% Holland's influence. It brought that as the driving force, as the active tornado to put over Gasolina. Now remember, Gasolina is off of Damien. Damien had nothing to do with Chico Lopez. To Chico Lopez Jane. Chico Lopez Jane is a combination of Awesome Buck with Chiquita. Chiquita is that cute missing link driving force that helped mend the Awesome Buck bloodline that created Jane. Now he used that Jane to breed to Damien semen to create Gasolina. And again, in Gasolina it's a known dog for different reasons. But if you look at this particular dog, and again, this is the greatest dog Chico Lopez has had ever. His words, not mine. Biggest dog. But if you look at the pedigree, has the least amount of his influence of his dogs, because Sarge was not his dog, had nothing to do with Sarge. So that's 50% is out of the window for Chico Lopez. Gasolina, Damien, he is the owner of the semen. But you cannot say that he created Damien. He had no influence in the formation of Damien as a dog. So that goes out the window as a breeder. Jane is, I would give him Jane as his, because he bred Awesome Buck to Chiquita. So Gasolina has some, but I would say the influence of Ciega the Great, Chico's influence on Ciega the Great creation is 25%, maybe 12.5%. He likes to do these numbers, these percentages. I'm giving these numbers to you. It does not represent 28 years of breeding dogs. It does not represent intelligent combinations seen in generation by generation by generation by generation by generation. So if he was making intelligent and working combinations through the years, 28 years, how many generations do you think that you have created? If you don't breed every year, if you only breed maybe one time a year, that would be 28 generations. But obviously, you know that this type of breeder and breeder that sells, because he's always sold, is going to have a lot more than one breeding a year. Do the math, make your own decisions. But Ciega the Great, it isn't much of Chico Lopez 28 years in the doors. So now, again, why am I doing this? I am doing this because Chico Lopez is a hustler, a person that basically stole my money, and my only means of getting revenge is making sure that other people know about him, and making sure that he does not get away with it by cheating other people. So the way I'm trying to help you is not. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm trying to give you all the information. You could comment down there and ask any questions or dispute what I'm saying. Perhaps but all I'm doing is trying to help the next guy not get screwed over like I did. So I am opening up everything he says. He said he has marriage, but really ask him what organization. If it's he mentions a sports person, if it's football, NFL, if it's basketball, NBA, etc., etc., boxing, everybody has an organization that endorses what the person is saying. If they say there's a champions, and who endorses that? and you reference if you're a boxer to WBC or whatever organization, if you're into MMA and you want to be, you want to say you're the elite at the top of that level, you say you're in the UFC, and so on and so forth. But Chico Lopez really all these merits that he when it's too good to be true, people, it is too good to be true. It's a lie. So Chico Lopez, he created 90% of the merits that he created. It. He had some merits back then when he was beginning, and obviously now 20 years later, 30 years later, he left with a big loss. You know, as working with dogs, and as I've broken down to you in through the years, Chico Lopez in 28, almost 30 years, you know, just because you've been in those for those amount of years doesn't mean you have experience. You have perhaps a couple of years experience, and the rest of it is repetition, Chico Lopez, repetition. So, and you have continuously going back to the well because whatever you've done doesn't work. After a certain time, dead end, dead end, dead end, dead end, dead end, dead end, dead end. So you need to go back. You need to go back. So and you're talking about merits. So a merit that you cannot say these organizations gave me this merit. This is how I got these. Those are champions here and there. Your dog, Tenka and Atos and what was it, Mayweather. Supposedly somehow somewhere they became champions. And then somehow somewhere you'll have an ROM dog or a PR dog somewhere somehow. People, these titles and these merits were given by organizations decades ago. Now it's being used by people like Chico Lopez that can only say, "Oh, I have merit of this, I merit of that." But if you do your research on this breed, there's thousands of people that own this breed, thousands of people that have different bloodlines, thousands of people that have been in generations holding these blood dogs. You have the Sorrel, you have the Purdue, you have, and pardon me, I know I messed up that last name, Purdue. I'm not from Louisiana, so I have to apologize. But Purdue, I won't even continue. So there's so many bloodlines, there's so many sub communities because people that you're listening, there's communities like people community, what Chico Lopez calls fraternity as a joke. It is. We love this breed. We go about it. This is our life. We don't sell them. And we love them. They're part of our lives. But Chico Lopez is trying to brush that off because that is not his customer base. So he's degrading them. Like he's degrading all the dogs in the United States because and all the breeders in the United States because his main customer base is in the United States. So like a good salesman, he needs to degrade others and try to mention things like, "Oh, I travel the world. I know these people. I met these peoples." Man, the dogs don't know anything about that. They just know what they have in their DNA and how they've been treated. And in many of the Chico Lopez videos, you see the dogs don't like them. Go back to the old dog videos when he did have the dogs with him. Like the dogs always pushed away. They weren't with. They weren't with him. They weren't. They have no bonding with him. And these were his dogs. So just look at it. And you can't say that you're the best if there's nobody else saying it. Chico Lopez doesn't have fan groups like there's Facebook groups, there's game game dog type of thing, type of forums out there, and they have their their subgroups that follow certain bloodlines. But I've never seen a group or community following Chico Lopez dogs that allows you know the, that allows discussion. Like for example, Tom Garner has many 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 groups in many many groups from everywhere, Facebook, in the internet, and there's other people that don't like their that bloodline, and they're there trying to trying to argue against it. But you never see Chico Lopez fans anywhere or any reputable dog people endorsing him. He has spit all over the place. He has spit on the community. Has spit a lot on a lot of people, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't know that he has done this. There's a lot of people that perhaps may endorse him right now, but once they hear or once they know what he's about now, his craziness, they'll turn up his back. They're back on him because he definitely isn't a person that wants to help the breed. That doesn't want to help the community. He is all about himself. He is trying to gather people that buy his dogs and almost like kind of like, okay, let's go all live in an island and I'll be your savior. My God, that is the type of personality he has. Just people, before you buy, do your research. If you're gonna pay over $1,000 for a dog of his that is not going to be registered with anybody, is not going to be DNA tested. So he might say it's about from this type of these dogs, mom and dad, these but completely different, but you won't know and he won't care. So because Chico Lopez is a salesman. The only job he has had in to this country is selling to people, selling to poor people, selling to people that work. You know what? You look at his videos before 2018. You know what he used to call working man? He call him the broke down man or broke down people. That is the type of people that that he is. Broke down. And I came to him and said, Chico, I'm the one that changed his wording from broke down because it was such a nasty word. I'm like, Chico, you can't do that. And he used the word working man because that is what I told you. There's working men that are trying to collect, gather their money, save their money to come and buy your dogs. You can't disrespect them like that. Just because they don't but that is the type of mentality that he is. He really is, he doesn't say it. He has his wife now kind of like guiding him. Hey, don't say, make sure you don't sound like this because, oh, yeah, be good idea, but, he's a homophobe, he has a lot of biases. Fact. You know, he has learned to be more respectful in public scenes, but he has a lot of biases. So why would you buy from someone that his dogs are coming from dogs in the United States? Their lines are still here. The lines are still here, so you could buy these dogs, similar bloodlines, similar connections from similar for less costly. No drama from him. Paperwork, so you could take him to dog shows, show him confirmation, do something in a community. If you like this breed, learn, get together with other people. This is what Chico is preventing. He's not giving you any type of paperwork. Remember that. And he's going to charge you just because he says he has merit. It's like kind of like, some sort of sugar that is made from the same manufacturer but has different labels. And one is super expensive because, but it's the same thing, same thing. That's what's going on. That's supposedly you're paying the Chico Lopez label. Don't be fooling yourself. I hope you listen. Have any questions? I'm always open. Have any argument? Be respectful. I'll be able to, to respectfully answer, reply. I'm only using logic here. I'm only using logic to convey the information of be careful, stay away from Chico Lopez. Right now he has that following because one person is famous, so another person that does it. But again, all these people don't know about dogs, don't know about these pit bulls. So it's like perfect. But if you like the breed, don't get confused by these key terms that he's coming left and right, left and right. You know, it's it's a joke in itself. But again, I'm not the one that's going to put my hand in my pocket anymore and give it to him. It's up to you. And I am just trying to clearly open your eyes uh, into what happened, how he became, what happened from with him back then, how he started breathing, and show you that he hasn't gone anywhere in 28, almost 30 years. But these are facts. You hear the merits that Chico Lopez says he has. I tell you that my merit is I have experience with him. I translated a lot of the things that are in English in his page, like the Victor Icart translation, where he's like, "Oh, I give you this the birthday crown to you, Chico Lopez." That I translated that completely. So I spent many hours, many days, many weeks going back and forth to try to get the gist of that translation right. I did a lot of translation for him. I did a lot of fiction. So that is part of my merit. I try to be a good friend. I try to be, on his team. But again, when things went sour for him, he didn't like what was going on. I did not bow down like he expects. Learning from you, he started talking dirtiness, and he continues to talk and say that I do some nastiness with my dogs, which I don't. My dogs are here. My dogs are hanging out. Have nothing to do with what happened other than when I did see it happen. The only thing that have could happen is recorded because it's such a my god. But anyway, hope you enjoy this long video. Apparently, hopefully you can break it down if you and watch it again, and we'll try to make more useful videos about other things because Chico brought me out. He forced me out when he started bashing my name, bashing my person, bashing what I believe in. He forced me out. He didn't think so I was going to come out because he knows I was a private person. But now that I'm out, I am going to try to be beneficial, helpful to other people that enjoy these dogs and believe that you can live with pit bulls. Okay? Have a good day.